What's up, Shinners? Welcome back to the Shin Dig podcast, where we like to get under the skin of the trials community. My name's Matt Pengelly, and sadly, there's no Tom Hutley today. He's the world's going back to normal. He had to go to work, and sadly, we've had to reschedule this with one of our other favourite friend riders here. Let's cut straight to it. This guy's got a seat on his bike. Another one. It's Matty Turner. What's up, buddy?
Yo. How's it going?
Yeah, man. Very, very good. Unfortunately, you've only got to deal with myself today.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Hutley.
Hello, Tom.
Yeah, he'll be listening. He'll definitely be listening in his cab at some point to tell me how terrible job I'm doing on my own. But, mate, how are you today? Looks absolutely sunny for the listeners. You're in your garden.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I thought I'd get out in the sun while it's out. You know, it's probably like the first few days that we've had of sun, so I thought I'd sit outside.
Yeah,
mate. Yeah, it's hot. To be fair, it is nice.
Good, great day to be riding your bike, right?
That's it. I will hop out on the bike a bit later on. Maybe when it cools down a bit. I don't want to.
Where are you in the world specifically?
So I'm in Wokingham.
Mm-hmm.
For people that don't know Wokingham, it is about 15-20 minutes from Reading.
Yeah.
And then about 40-45 minutes from London. So
really, you're actually not even that far from us. I'm not sure why we haven't ridden.
I'm in quite a good spot, to be fair. I'm quite in the middle of sort of everything, which is pretty good.
No excuse to drag you out onto one of our street ride videos then, Matty.
You've
just dropped yourself in it, mate. So there's no excuse to miss one of those. Now, of course, it's a trials podcast. You're a trials rider. I always like to go into my relationship with the guest, which, you know, I like to say you're one I've seen grow up. I say that in because I remember you as a trials rider, like 10 years old, like even younger. Obviously, you know, coming into yourself as you get older. But I want to go back to that, Matty. Let's go to the start, where trials kind of started for you, and the first time you got that bug.
So I think the first time was when I was actually in Devon. It was the most random thing.
In Devon,
I was actually in Devon.
Yeah.
Cause my nan used to live in Devon, so we'd go down for the weekends or whatever for a little bit of holiday.
Wonderful part of the world, yeah.
Yeah, it is really nice. Before sort of trials, you know, I was always athletic. I was always into like gymnastics, anything really sporty. So I knew a little bit about bikes. I was into a bit of BMX before and dirt jumping. I was at my nan's house, and I just remember looking out the window and seeing a guy on, I think it was an Onza TV or something like that.
Yeah.
Literally in my nan's clothes. Weirdest place, you know, because obviously
like in her estate, you mean, like a small.
Yeah, literally the house opposite.
Yeah,
was just hopping around on it. And then searched it up from there. You know, obviously came across Danny and all that sort of them sort of bigger riders. The sort of competition sort of side of it never really interested me. So I was a lot of watching Danny because it was all flips and whatever. And then I came across Bike Radar.
Yeah.
And I believe Onza were there doing shows.
Yeah, so it's like that first sort of bug of actually seeing. I don't think I was there at that particular one. I think I know the event you're on about because they had a trade stand. And
and it had like skips and whatever as the course and things. And then like in between shows, you could go in on and test the bike sort of thing. That is when I met Jack Meek. So
every trials rider has someone that's groomed them. See, if Tom was here right now, he'd be saying this is a trend. Every sorry, yeah. So Jack Meek came into your life. What a guy.
Yeah.
That's
when it all started. I was testing out Onza Mini Master.
So this one didn't have a seat, you know, like a proper trials bike.
Yeah. I started off without a seat, to be fair. And Jack was the one sort of guiding me around it. And then as soon as I came off that, I sort of begged my parents to sort of buy me one.
Of course. Did they have any inclining to being like, oh, you've got this trial bike, doesn't have a seat, you need to get one with a seat? I'm interested in that route as to how you got onto that bike.
I don't actually know. I think I think we researched about it, like a fair bit before. Obviously it was a bit weird at the start. Why doesn't it have a seat?
Yeah, it's hard to relate to.
Yeah, I think Dad sort of had a deep chats with the people at Onza, and got a bit of information about it there and then. But no, I don't seem to remember like
being a major decision factor in your riding.
I think we sort of done our like research and watched the videos about it that we already sort of knew.
Well, you knew what type of style you were going for.
Yeah.
From the word go. Yeah. No, I understand, and it's kind of like, I suppose that's why a lot of riders see Danny and obviously aspire to be that. And I was just curious to be like, oh no, I spent like 4 years on an Onza, kind of TV before I could do that. Yeah. But when did you get your Inspired, the blue one? Because that's why I think I first met you would have been like, what, 10, 12 years ago at a Radfest?
Oh, that's a good question. I want to say I always look young, right? So I wasn't that young.
I know that. It's so true. Baby face.
I was always small and I always looked young. I think when I got the 20-inch, when it sort of started coming out, was that Radfest was the first time anyone had ever seen a 20-inch street trials bike, which is one that Danny was at, I believe. Was it Tarty bikes?
It might have.
Tarty days.
Really, now you're racking our brains, but
yes,
there was one year where they were both there, but that's what I remember, you being like the first person, or for me, a first mini Danny Mac. You were like, oh wow, there are kids that are riding that style bike, and that was a question. Was that the first one? You were riding the first one?
Yeah, so that orange one that came out when, I'm pretty sure it was Tarty days when Danny was there. And he had a little go on it. That was the first. That was the actual prototype, I think. So I got a fair few of them in the sheds from working with Inspired, trying to bring out this 20-inch, and I believe that was the first time anyone had ever seen it in person. Yeah,
it was the first bike. I thought so. Just wanted to clarify that. That's a big deal, man. Inspired sort of now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's big. I think I must have been 12, 13.
Yeah, like every cyclist's dream as a teenager. Like, I get to ride like the newest bike, test it out, and But I can sort of see why you took that route in riding, because that kind of style is like super creative, and the one thing that you stand out to most of the rest, I personally think, is the creative fun tricks that you come up with, like the backyard stuff and some other things. If people don't know what I'm talking about, head over to Matty Turner Trials on his Instagram and check out some of those trick shots. I wanted to see, like, was that kind of what your 2020 was? I noticed just trick shots in the garden because you couldn't get out on the bike. What brought you to kind of bring that to trials clips? Because it was different.
Yeah, literally. I'm pretty sure I filmed that video, and all them videos was in lockdown. Obviously I couldn't really go anywhere. So, I had just looking at in the back garden, I've got all this stuff. What can I do, to put all this stuff together and still get creative, sort of thing. Yeah. It's like sort of going out on a ride and you're all like sessioning a wall. What you're coming up with ideas as to what everyone can sort of do on this wall and how creative you can get. And I think, I like to do different things. I like to sort of get creative and sort of stand out a bit. And try and bring new things to the sport, especially like, the silly things like with the ping pong balls, like, where do you sort of see people sort of doing that, like mixing ping pong balls and golf and whatever with trials riding?
Yeah, collaboration. Always use it. Collaboration is key. I would only say it was like, trials riding is an extreme sport and you can get creative with that, and it's cool. And then you're matching up with trick shots, like trying to think of it. Oh, the Dude Perfect guys, right? They run a YouTube channel, and that's primarily trick shots. Fantastic, right? But you're like, hang on, what do I do? What do they do? And then combining those two,
merging it together. You know,
just,
it's amusing as well for sort of like the younger generation as well. You know, I feel like with trials and you can do all these amazing tricks, but not everyone's. How do I put it? Some people watching and being, oh yeah, that's cool, but like they're not sort of engaged by it. If that makes sense. Only people that know about, say, trials biking or BMXing or biking, is going to be like,
yeah,
that's hard.
can actually appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it sort of brings that sort of amusement into it, you know, sort of like the younger generation, I feel, is that they can watch the sort of trick shots because they can sort of try it themselves. And, you know, it's not like a double backflip where they sort of watch it and, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. But yeah, it brings that level of amusement to it.
What I found it is like the trick looks impossible, but it's not impossible, if that makes sense. So
exactly.
Somebody else, like I can't do front flips on a bike, but I could sit in my garden and try and bounce a ping pong ball off a wheel onto a cup on my head. Like it's that kind of stuff. Again, guys, for context, head to Matty Turner's Instagram. But that's the kind of thing that people might go, do you know what? I'm actually going to try it. They might give up 3 days of their life doing it.
That's what happened to me.
I knew it. This was like another thing. Like it leads me on to another question. Obviously, you're doing a lot of these trick shots, and the newest one I saw this morning, the flip whip dip. Is that what it was called? The flip whip dip.
Yeah,
Love the name. Really great.
Yeah.
Great concept. When do you know when to stop, dude? Or when do you know when it is 100% going to work? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because if you do it 100 attempts, you're like, right, it's not going to work. I have to, cut your losses there. Where's the line?
I don't think I have one, to be honest with you. Like that is my problem. I'll be out the whole time. I do not know when to stop. You know, it gets to the point where like I won't be having breaks. I'll just be going, do it back, just constantly. And that some of the things that I have done in, say, you know, my recent sort of edit on YouTube, the back garden one, things were taking 3-4 days, and there is points where I'm like, is it gonna work? But I don't know.
Or if it's worth it, right? Because imagine you put 48 hours, 48 hours into a 3-second clip that people obviously is great, but you're like, does this really create the traction I need for the time I'm putting in?
And that's it. And I think that's what sort of puts it into the perspective as well, is if I do land it, is it going to be worth it? Do I continue going? You know, I've put all this time and effort into it. Is it worth it carrying on?
You have to balance that out. I mean, on a personal level, right? It's the satisfaction of making the trick, right? That's why you're doing it too.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it in some of your faces sometimes. You just get it and you're like, okay, I love this because I respect that he's clearly waited patiently, worked hard to get this one little
and that's the thing I think that keeps me going, is like I say to myself in my head, well, once I've done it, I'm done. That's it. Like just
release.
Land it.
Right, 3 days off now. I've just worked.
Yeah, just land it and I'm done.
And well, what motivates you really then to get out on your bike, do you feel? Whether that be going out with the boys on a street ride or just, you know, in your garden, because that can be difficult and uninteresting sometimes.
See,
what kind of motivates you?
I do find it some days hard to be able to constantly be out on the bike. For me, I don't have many, if any, sort of riders that still ride hard around here. So generally I am riding by myself unless I travel. Which I don't mind traveling. But I think the main thing is for me is that I like creating content. I like being creative and different, and being able to sort of come up with new ideas, new tricks, especially like the sort of trick shot ones. And, you know, it's all these obviously like this silly sort of gimmicky things, which is, you know, amusing to people, like for them to watch, like the bike gymnastics and whatever. I think that's it. Mainly is just coming up with new ideas, and being creative with it. I like just being creative.
I think that helps the reach of people that you're getting to though as well, because you might find a gymnastic person watches your tricks, right? They might not be anything to do with a bike.
And it's experimenting as well. It's experimenting with it, you know, what your audience likes, what they don't like. And, you know, you can sort of gauge off what you need to post and what you want to post from experimenting really with it.
Not necessarily a wrong or right answer either.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this trick is called this, whatever you did. It's like, well, there's no right way to do it, you know? Is there a trick yet that is totally unique to yourself that you've named? Is there a trick yet that's out there? Just trying to think. Because has anyone done the exercise ball tape? Because obviously you taped. Anyone who didn't know, I'll give some context.
Oh yeah.
Parcel taped a
See, that's another
exercise
silly
ball
thing as well.
Yeah, right. So just go on.
Yeah, looking at the ball. You know, obviously Danny done it on the ground. I just purely looked at that and what, you know, I'm flipping on it. Or maybe if I did take that to my back, it might work. And it was literally the silliest thing. You know, Mum was sat here eating breakfast or food or whatever. And I just went, look, Dad, just tape it to my back. We'll see if it works. And I didn't put any mats out, anything. And it just happened. It just worked. Then
there was no practice. What? So you didn't like do a practice run? You just...
No. I did a practice run and obviously fell off.
Yeah.
And then a few more goes later, it was literally just the exact same as doing it when it's planted on the ground as it is on my back. The only thing is it looks like you're just going to be front flipping to the ground. Like obviously the ball's not there.
Yeah.
And then I just went, Dad, film it. And literally within that
took off,
that time. Yeah.
I know there's so many other pages sharing it. And
yeah.
It was a real nice change to the scene to see, you know, different tricks like that. But that was you know, that's kind of my point. It was that element of being like, I don't think anyone else has done that yet. So that you own it, right? It's yours.
Well, I think so.
Well, no, we're saying it now. Matty T, that is your trick. I don't know what the official name is. I mean, I said a ball back flip because it's. We could get on
you
all
got to
day.
be careful with naming that.
Yeah, anyone who's got a better name for that, put a comment down below. That was a terrible quick one that came to mind. But another particular trick that went viral, and I'm sure there's one of many, but I think that's what's important, or what you're bringing to the media side of things. Everyone can put a clip of the side up, a gap to front. I'm guilty of it, you know. Just there you go, put that up there. Cool, you jumped off of a wall, mate. That's great. But yeah, it's very refreshing, is what I'm trying to say. To kind of see you take another approach at it. We know you're a good trials rider. We know you can do all that kind of stuff. So doing the little gritty, small things, it keeps it interesting.
It's just fun, isn't it? Yeah.
What I was going to ask is, well, we've had all these sort of bikes. You started on that 20-inch. Can you tell us what was your favourite bike out of the bikes you've had? Maybe go through some of them.
Before I knew anything about trials, I did have I think it was Onza T-Bird or an Onza TV, something like that.
Yeah. Which
was massive. It was way too big for me. I knew nothing about it.
You were a small guy, yes.
Yeah, I am
small
now.
little dude.
Now, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, bigger at least in comparison, but yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything on that. That was my first ever trials bike, I believe. Then I got the Mini Master, which now Logan rides. That is my Mini Master. I sold it to Jason.
Jason Lake's little man Logan. Shout out to those two. Yeah.
Sold it to Jason. You know, he was looking for one. They've obviously, I believe, discontinued them. And I thought, you know, it's just going to sit in my garage. Why not, you know, pass it on to sort of the next generation and let Logan rip around on it. And he seems to be enjoying it. I'm glad it's still going, to be fair, because that is, it's an old bike.
Especially with being one of your first ones, right? It's a little bit more meaning to it, you know?
So yeah, then it was the Mini Master, little 18-inch. And then I believe that's when I got stuck, because obviously I was small. I was too big for an 18-inch and too small for a 24. And there wasn't a 20-inch street trials bike out. Amazingly, I don't think I spoke to Inspired. I think Inspired contacted me. I might have had something to sort of do with them about bringing out the 20-inch street trials bike at exactly the right point that I needed a new bike.
Yeah, all timing very well. I mean, I know it was like when Radfest was Jack Meek, maybe, kind of pushed, hey, look at this kid here. He needs a 20-inch.
And Jack,
I can see
Jack
him
helped a lot.
kind of influencing is it Dave? Yeah, influencing Dave in that, just to kind of be like, hey, there's this guy might be amazing for you to test one out with.
Yeah, and then it's sort of, I had a fair few different frame kits with the 20-inch with just little modifications on it, like different dropouts and whatever. And then they finished off with me with the Blue Flow, which is actually still built, I think, in the shed somewhere.
That's what you did, that little trick shot. Oh my God, trick shot. It's a good thing this isn't for kids. A trick shot clip was on that little, blue inspired. Yeah. It was like, that was literally a mini Danny's bike at that point, was it?
Pretty much. That was the idea of it. It was sort of like the marketing side of it. It was the exact same color as the bike he was riding, but literally just a smaller bike. Yeah. So that the younger kids could, sort of.
Yeah, I can be Danny. Yeah, it's just kind of what it literally is. Yeah.
So it was orange, and then I think Danny must have changed the color of his bike to the blue. And then they changed it to the blue. And I think there's loads more out now. I think there was a black one. I don't know what else there is.
Well, now that you're on the topic of Danny and that bike, where is it? The team. Whilst I've got it fresh in my mind, let me just share this with you. I found this earlier. You can see it on the screen in 1 second. Bit blurry.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. So for the listeners, some context. You are in Bristol at the Red Bull Streetlight competition. Or no, it was like comp Red Bull Red
Bull Streetlight sessions, I think it was.
Yeah, and there's Danny Mack in the background, and there you are.
There is.
Pretty young, small on your T Master there that now Logan's got. Can you give us a little bit of insight into what's happening in this moment for the listeners?
So obviously we knew that was an event that was happening. So we travelled, I think it's about like an hour and a half to get to Bristol. Obviously with, what's the word? I wanted to go in and get in on the sessions or whatever. Yeah. I arrived and, I basically nearly backed out, and my dad forced me and said, look, I haven't travelled all this way for you to not back
Dad.
out. Because it was quite intimidating.
That is definitely intimidating, mate.
Yeah, I was still young, and I was a bit shy. And then Dad sort of pushed me forward to go in on it. And then what sort of really got people's attention was there was a balance beam sort of thing on the ground where it started off wide and then got thinner and thinner and thinner. And people were, trying to ride along it. It was a bit of like a challenge sort of thing. Yeah. And I completed the whole thing. And then I can't remember who was emceeing, but it might have been James Thorne or something.
Yeah.
Is emceeing. He ran over to me. He's got me on the mic. Like, I'm there. Like, what have I done? Like,
put you on the spot, basically.
Like, yeah. And then Danny sort of came over and he had a chat with me and congratulated me and whatever. And then pretty much I was hopping on that thing and he just was watching me. And the photographer got that photo.
And he's like, oh shit, who's this kid? Really? I wasn't doing that at that age. I'm sure. What I mean, was that the first time you met Danny?
I want to say so, yes.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. I wonder what would have been going through Danny's mind in that moment. Like, oh wow. Yeah, okay, better watch out for this guy. And then, a little while later, he's just you're riding virtually the same bike as him, just smaller, and kind of promoting that like I'm the mini Danny sort of. It's big shoes to fill, mate. Big shoes to fill. But
it is. It was. Yeah.
You've always been, from a young age. I've always seen you sort of in the limelight, whether it was your choice or not, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Which brings me on to another sort of moving a bit further forward. I only found this out yesterday or the day before, but you've been on Blue Peter as well. I
Yeah,
thought
man.
it was Scott and Dre was like the only people who have you got a Blue Peter badge?
I do indeed. I did get a Blue
But
Peter
so
badge from
you should
being
have
on
called
Blue
us
Peter.
out on the other pods, like, "Oi, I've freaking got one as well. What the hell?" Do you want to go a little bit into that? How did all that come around? What was the story behind that?
So obviously, I'm a part of Fusion Extreme, which is owned by MATTY Hemmings, which is a stunt team. We only started up, I think it was the year before Corona sort of came about. So it's only sort of been a couple years.
Oh, so it was reasonably new, fresh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. 2-3 years old now, something like that. And that was actually one of our first sort of shows. Matty's been on there quite a few times doing Guinness World Records and things. And it was a live show to the audience. Yeah,
like a demo
much.
show, wasn't it? I think I've got
Yeah.
there it is. There's like
It
a
was
really
very
good
quick.
photo of you there on the blue.
Yeah, that's it. There I am. I was 19 there.
19 years old.
Yeah,
and on Blue
yeah.
Peter. Nailing it, Matt. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool experience. Went up to, I think it was Manchester, I think Media City, I think it's called.
Yeah, they moved the BBC headquarters a few years ago to Manchester. Yeah. So I was surprised. Yeah, I hadn't realised. I thought sort of Scott was pioneering that, and Dre, I know, has one. Yeah. But how awesome, mate! They were like, "Oh, bring his bike on. That's so on brand. That's blue." Yeah.
No, that was cool. That was a really cool experience. My first time sort of being on TV, I think.
Well, and obviously, not just like Blue Peter was something that most of us grew up watching. Really.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's still around now. Again, probably.
Yeah, I believe so.
Probably it still is. But that kind of, as you spoke about Fusion, then I just wanted to make sure all the listeners had a good understanding as well of like who's supporting you, what your sponsors are at the moment, a little bit about that journey, and maybe like where it's going. Who are your current kind of supporters that you're backing as well?
So I have Radical Bikes, which has been there from day dot.
Yeah, man. You know, one of the most important, absolutely. Exactly. Radical Bikes. Just a quick best shout people. Out. This would be out just before Radfest, I think. So I think this is out the week before Radfest. So if you're listening to this and you haven't got your ticket, fucking sort it out.
Yeah, get your ticket now. Continental Tires, sort of send me some tires every now and then. Pembrey pedals, which are a new pedal company. Fusion Extreme, obviously.
Yeah, that's for the shows.
And then sort of
unofficially, can you say that?
It's sort of like a friends and family type thing. Yeah. It's just a bit of clothing here and there. And then unfortunately Arctic, not anymore. I had a year contract with them, which didn't get renewed, unfortunately. I think it wasn't it happened in, Corona times. The whole year was Corona. So we couldn't go out and do events and whatever. And it was just, I think, not the path they sort of wanted to follow down as a business sort of thing. But it was a good experience nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of partnerships are everything. And obviously you're learning through that. Exactly. And I'm sure as a brand, I mean, as the Shin Dig media, we're learning too in those aspects of like where you want to put your values and who you want to kind of support you. What are we likely to kind of see in the future then? What are you maybe working towards at the moment, Matty?
Pretty much for me now this year is, for one, I'm building up a new bike, which will be Extension Jarvis.
Oh, yes. Nice.
Get that sort of sorted because my Sky now really needs, taking apart, new parts, everything. Is a good, probably 7 years old now.
That's pretty good going for a trials bike, mate.
Yeah. No, it's still solid as well. I'll still build it up with some fresh parts and, keep it up. Probably still will be my main sort of trials bike. It's just unfortunate they don't make them ones anymore. And then for me, it is working on some big edits, really trying to sort of push my profile out there. And, hopefully do it as a full-time career.
And more shows. Obviously now it's opening up.
And more shows. Yeah, we're getting a lot more in now that, you know, things are starting to open back up. Like car shows, theme parks.
I mean, I can't wait. I've had first shows since 2019. The weekend just gone, so I know that they are back. It was kind of in a COVID environment, you know.
Everyone was unsure, weren't they? They didn't really know what they could and couldn't do.
Well, I think it's not too bad for us trials display teams. You know, we barrier off an area.
Yeah,
it's mainly outside.
Yeah.
Mainly outside, so people can kind of keep their distance easily. So hopefully we'll see some more shows come through, and you doing for Fusion Extreme, of course. And they don't just do trials as well. They've got like free runners and things like that.
So it's, pretty much most things: free runners, beatboxing, a little bit behind the scenes is skateboarding and basketball as well. So
always noticing new brands coming through there, and they're like, oh, let's go. Oh, there's another new brand taking out to you. I want to give a little shout out to Bigfoot Brace, that new brace that's coming out. I know they sent you one, didn't they?
Yeah.
To kind of test out, and it's definitely something that's potentially missing in the scene, like more of a like branding. Yeah. So big shout out to them at the moment. I know you're sort of. Using it as right now, just testing them out, right?
Yeah.
I've been feeling maybe it'll actually improve my riding. I don't know. I'd like to maybe give it a go.
Got to protect them ankles, you know.
Yeah, give me the confidence and doing it that way. All right. Well, let's go on to our bit of a quick fire round. We say quick fire. It's never fucking quick, is it? And I always
start blabbering on again.
And start blabbering on, and then lose track. I mean, it's a podcast. I ain't a podcaster. I'm just a guy that talks a lot. Right. On to our quick fire. So the first question, what's your favourite spot to ride? Your favourite locations?
Radical bikes, hands down.
Yes. Good choice,
it's got to be. There's nothing better.
Nah. And I mean, I don't know how much. Yeah, you're gonna love the new space we've put in. Tom, I should say. Tom has definitely made way for a lot of the street lines, and that's been taken into account. So there's a lot of good stuff there. I'm pretty sure.
Is it starting to get filled up now then, the field?
Oh, mate. How much can I don't know what I'm allowed to say, really, but
true.
Yeah, mate. Some of us who've been building there, we've had some sick rides already. It needs to be tested. So this actually ties into the whole point where we will be doing a Shin Dig / Radical Bikes video before anyone rides there, and you're a Radical Bikes rider, so you'll be in it. You just didn't know that yet. But we'll give you when it happens. So I'm very much excited for that. So yes, Radical Bikes, cool, great shout, Matty. Of course, it's the best trials bike in the country, man. It's awesome,
100%, hands down.
Awesome spot. So, and what would be who you riding with when you're there? You can name a group of people if you like, or a couple. Who's the crew that you're all getting the banter going with? You're having a laugh with.
I've got to say one. You got to know who it is.
Come on, yeah.
Ewan.
Yeah. Ewan Beeden, he would have been.
He always brings it, doesn't he? He always brings it.
So,
mainly he just takes the mick out of me most of the time, to be fair.
I mean, we take the mick out of him too. When this is out, Ewan Beeden's. So we're recording this now. Ewan Beeden's coming out tomorrow, Matty, so you can listen to him.
Okay.
As well. Great shout. Yes, the engineering guru, as I like to call him.
That's it. Yeah, the bit of a nerd.
And some people call him my twin. I don't know how I feel about that, but we run with it. It's fine. It's fine. So cool. You're at Radical Bikes. You're with the old Ewan Beeden. What's that favourite move that's getting you buzzed, and you get your buzz on afterwards?
When I'm at Rad, it is. I don't know why, but it's the one thing I always look around for something to front flip.
Something new to do, yeah.
It's just something to front flip. Like that bank that they had, the little blue one, it was just perfect. I had to do it. I don't know why.
Yes. Anyone who doesn't know what mine's on about, there's like what is it called? A drop-in? No, it's not a drop-in ramp. It's like
a little flat bank thing.
yeah,
isn't
like
it?
a flat bank ramp, fun box kind of style
Yeah, sort of
thing.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and see Matty just roll at it and front flip off it. Definitely not something, mate. Yeah, definitely not something I don't think a lot of people expected that day. Are you like super confident with your fronties now? Then you're just like, oh yeah, I can make it round any time. How does you know what I mean?
Pretty
That's a
much,
scary
I
move.
think. It is scary, but especially your sort of flat banks like that, they are quite easy. It's when it's sort of a proper ramp, you got to like go back and then like pop it, like I don't know.
Right, well, you're going against physics. It wants to pull you that way, right?
That's it. Whereas on like a flat bank, you sort of just lean back a bit and yank it as hard as you can. Pretty much.
I know that the logic's there. I understand how it works because, like, the more commitment you put in, the safer you're going to be.
That's it. If you don't commit, you are going to hurt yourself.
And that is the key to like most riding. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
true. If you're not thinking about the full rotation, you are not going to make it round.
Yeah.
So I mean that sounds like a pretty good combination that's worth filming. You know, you've got you at Radical Bikes doing a front flip, and there's you and Beeden in the background not trying a front flip.
Yeah, taking the mick out of me.
Yeah, just doing something like that. He'll probably do something technical and moan and be like, "Well, I can do this, and you can front flip."
Yeah,
like the banter between you boys. Definitely, I'm looking forward to the whole Radfest shenanigans. I have to say.
Me too.
And
the kicker competition is coming back, isn't it?
One of the most important ones we have.
I can't wait for that.
Can you remember your worst shin dig? How it happened? What trick were you doing? Were you stepping out of your car or doing a front flip?
I haven't had like a mad shindig, to be fair.
Really? This might be May. Can I just stop you there? This might be the first one. So there's not like one particular one you're like, oh yeah.
I'm pretty hot on my pads, to be fair. So like, I don't really go hard if I'm not right, like in pads. But
True.
when I was younger, I did, I was in my nan's back garden. I was doing like a rolling gap sort of thing, and I slipped, and it wasn't crazy. It was, I was young. So to me, I was like, I'm bleeding. I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
But that wasn't too crazy. I'm like Ross Gardner. I have split.
Yeah, okay. Now some context for those that missed out. He hasn't had a shindig, but what did we call it? A scrotum cut or something?
I don't know what it was. Yeah.
But mate, that's probably worse. We probably don't need to go into the details. But
yeah, I think Rossi was there actually that night. I think it was when I was a bit younger.
Oh, I know what to do. Hang on, man. And that's why he was like, let me look at it. That was his excuse. Of course, Rossi G getting in there, seeing that. And you were only young at the time. How inappropriate. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that seems to be a first, mate. Like, it's inevitable, getting an injury obviously is inevitable. And it's one of those things that I'm more... and I'm more concerned for someone if they're like, I haven't quite had a nasty fall yet. I'd be like,
what's going on?
Just don't say that. It's it's well due. Well, that might lead me on to the next one. What's your pedal and shoe combination? What pedals are you running? What shoes are you running, and why?
So I'm running the Pembury pedals. I think it was like the D12 ones, I believe.
Yeah.
And then I am the 510.
Are they a platform? Just so we know, they like a platform pedal.
Yeah, sort of similar to the Inspired Team ones.
Got ya. Yeah. Nice.
And then I am 510 free ride shoes.
Yeah, 510s for the win.
Ones.
Yeah. Well, Danny, Danny wears them, so why wouldn't I? I'm glad that seems to be branching into that world. Beforehand, it's all like Reeboks and stuff. And I think 5-6 years ago, 510 coming into that.
Yeah.
Taking on Danny as an ambassador, like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Adidas's name being part of like the most niche biking discipline there is.
Yeah, they sort of joined with 510, didn't they? Sort of thing.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact details. I feel like they do own them. Maybe that's their sister company.
Yeah,
they buy them. Again, probably someone knows better than me. Correct me, of course, if I'm wrong and how. But it's definitely bringing the sport to the limelight, and I'm hoping that, people like yourselves too are getting recognised to bring it to the limelight. Obviously, Sick have reached out to you. I know Fabio's actually seen some of your clips and commented.
Yeah, see, the funny thing is with me and Fabio is before he blew up, got sort of picked up by Red Bull and whatever. When I was younger, we were both flown out to Czech Republic to Dressler camp. Don't know if you've heard of it.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is there a video for that then? The dress that one?
Yeah. I had
the
video of me, I think, doing a flip or something in the contest. Something. Anyway, because obviously me and Fabio were on Inspired.
Yeah.
I think amongst maybe someone else, I can't remember who it was. But we got flown out there, and this was way before he was anywhere as big as he is. So I think it was him and there's so many of them. I don't know if his cousin or his brother. Gabriel.
His brother is called Gabriel, I believe. That's his
brother.
I might be. Someone correct me, but I think it's his brother. I follow both of them on Insta. Yeah, Gabriel's
they do
sick
look very
rider.
similar. I mean, yeah. So yeah, him and Gabriel must have been, I don't know.
He's younger,
11.
Isn't he? Yeah.
So I think he's 18 now or something. So I was sort of with them two for a fair amount of it. So that's where I first met him. So I sort of knew him a little bit before he sort of blew up.
You had a relationship, before he. Right,
yeah,
understood.
So I've always had sort of like a bit of contact with him over inbox and whatever. You have chats here and there. I was meant to go over and stay with him for a little bit a few years back, but it never sort of happened. I think that he was pretty busy with projects and whatever. But that's how.
Well, hopefully they get you on. If Sick do another video, think, come on, mate, just come over here. Let's just do another video. Yeah. And if now that we know, so you're my first person I've met who has first-hand contact with Fabio, so that's interesting. But probably a lot harder potentially to get on the show because Red Bull managers, are these guys professional? We'll certainly see. But Fabio, if you're listening to this right now, we want you on the show. we need, we want more of the top trials riders, and this is the only trials podcast. Like this is where. Put a good word in for us, Matt. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'll send it to him. I'll tell him.
I don't know what the rules are. We want to get Danny too. There are other big names, old school riders, but
that's it. It's just trying to get hold of him. You need that sort of little gateway in, don't you? I don't know how.
No, that's it. When somebody has.
It's not what you know, it's who you know, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, absolutely. And it's when someone has direct contact with that person, because I can send Instagram messages left, right, and centre, and that's kind of how I do it.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
But when there's so many, you just get lost. So It's more so about being like, just give me their email address. It's like so old-fashioned, but legit. The best way.
The only way.
It's the same with I know. So I let it out. Kenny Belay's coming on in a few weeks. But that wasn't easy, even though we have met each other a few times, and I was like, Kenny, do you remember me? Like, come on. Luckily I got it through my personal, but it was a matter of him being like, oh dude, I'm so sorry I haven't been able to contact you because there's so many Instagram messages. Here's my email. And there it was. He was like, just email me, and now we have a discussion, and the trail started.
Yeah.
So really, I should start a thing. If anyone has people's information that they want on, just send it to me, and I'll just email them, and they'll be like, "How did you get my information?" It's all good, bringing them to the conversation, learning things about new riders. There's a simple thing there now, Matt. So how long have you been riding? Actually, this is what we forgot to say at the start. How long have you actually been riding?
It must be edging on double figures by now. I think I properly really got into it when I was probably around 11, 12. And then...
Because the first Radfest would have been... You were at the first one, weren't you? Yeah? I feel like you were. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
I just feel like you were there on your orange... Was it your orange? No, maybe not. Anyway, that was 20... 11, maybe
How long ago is that?
2012. So
10.
we're crimping up 10 years, mate. So I think you are just scraping that double digit
Yeah, it must be double digits by now.
of riding.
Yeah.
And still a long way to go yet.
Yeah,
right?
hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, this is how do you keep on form? Like, what does your normal week sort of look like to kind of keep riding, balancing work and life and your bike? How are you doing that?
So I do a bit of landscaping here and there, to sort of keep me tied over, which again is obviously active. Everything I do is pretty much physical and hands-on. I do go to the gym a lot, not to look massive, to prevent injury and things like that. Keep myself strong. My diet and things, could be better.
I mean, yeah, come on. And you're young, bro. When you're young, you're like, you want to drink what you want, eat what you want. Like, embrace that now, because I'm not old yet, but that hit me a year or two ago. So absolutely, mate. No, of course, as long as you're staying active is key.
That serious into it. Yeah. So a bit of landscaping. I do go to the gym and things to sort of keep fit, do cardio, things like that. Make sure I'm strong. And then, whenever, pretty much as much as I can is just riding and getting on the bike.
Do you have like certain days that you ride, or like a particular routine that is fixed?
Not really. I tend to sort of work, early week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or something like that. And then towards the end of the week and weekends is when I leave for sort of riding. But, I do try and treat it as work, in the hopes that one day it will be my work.
Yeah.
I try to sort of be serious about it, and
without taking the fun out of it, though. That's what's important.
That's it as well. I don't necessarily train. I don't.
I know that word. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I don't go out to, I've got to do this amount, I've got to practice the other way. I just do it, and I just have fun with it. That's why I like to do all them silly things, because it's fun, and I enjoy doing it.
I think that's important, mate. You're not too, by the sounds of it, you aren't putting too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah, and that's it. Pressure as well. I don't perform well under pressure at all.
Yeah, no, and of course everyone can be different and do it that way, but like you say, most importantly, I don't doubt that you will make a career out of this, Matt, and I very much hope that you do too. Just keep working at it. I know how hard it can be from firsthand, from my friends who do it for a living. Perhaps luckily you didn't get into it too early, because you might have been screwed for the last year. But at your age now, and I think there's still a lot to come, mate. So I'd like to think that you're gonna keep riding, keep surprising us with new things, and have even more tricks go viral.
Hopefully.
Yeah, no, mate, we are 100% behind you too, and we really want you're part of the sport. Just because we always say, just because you've got a seat, we always slate everyone and have a joke about it.
You, I guess.
It's all banter and it's all jokes, part of it, and that's why I really love of it. So I think mate, be optimistic about that. Keep doing what you're doing, and I think it will definitely get there. But we're all in good time, mate. I won't keep you for too much longer, but there is still a few important things to ask. If you wanted to have somebody on the podcast to get them to chat their trials journey, who would it be, mate? Who would you want to have on the show?
Oh, that is hard.
Well, you can say, you can say anyone. I might tell you I've already had them, but
I was the one that popped into my mind straight away is Martin Ashton.
But we've already done him.
I know.
Yeah, so that's good. That's great. No, that's what we want. We're like, they've said that. Well, you could just say Fabio.
Or Fabio, yeah, to be fair. I feel like, I don't want to sound like that, but I feel like I am sort of similar in a way.
100%, mate. If there's anyone, what I'm getting at, if there's anyone to say his name that's realistic, it's you. You're his friend,
Yeah,
mate.
I guess. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I feel like you're the only person that I've met who would take the mick out of him in a jokey way. But we won't do that yet because I don't know him. But absolutely, it's definitely someone I'd like to hear his journey being like the freshest kind of.
Yeah.
Face.
He's smart. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, and again, like yourself, this is what I'm saying. You're similar because he is super creative, and you can see that in him
and
as
that's
well.
it. He's very good at marketing himself, Fabio.
Yeah, he's done an excellent job at just completely, blowing up. I mean, we as trials riders, we sort of have followed him for a while, and we knew he was good. I remember it like when he was like 18, doing all the stuff.
Yeah.
Is amazing. Wherever that place that he lives at is just incredibly beautiful.
I know he's got everything on his doorstep, doesn't he?
So I mean, you still need to take up on that offer, Matt, to actually get out there and ride with him and make a sick video.
Right.
And maybe even I've forgotten because they need to get you all together. I've forgotten his name, the new Japanese rider. I'm going to say it now. Tomomi. Well, actually, the Shin Dig call him Jappy Mac. If anyone wants to join it, his name is Jappy Mac. He's okay with it because I've commented like 3 times on his Insta, and he's read it and liked it. So hashtag Jappy Mac is a thing. Go and check him out. Amazing. Just got a new Canyon bike too. Yeah, I don't know how we got onto that then, but I just had to bring it up, mate, because it's so. Just thought it was quite funny. There's a Jappy Mac, so we'll
Jappy Mac. Every time he pops on my feed, I'm just.
Yeah, now you'll see it. I feel like I want to get everyone to start commenting, and maybe it'll catch on because what would happen is someone's going to notice it and be like, who's came up with that? And we'll be like, hi,
this?
We're the Shin Dig Media. Hello. I quite like the idea if he would come on. I don't think his English is that great though, judging by the videos.
I've had a little chat with him as well, to be fair, about I planted the seed. I need to come over to Japan and ride, sort of thing.
Good. And that's what it's all about. Yeah. I keep saying collaboration is key, man. Get out there with other followers that do the same sort of thing. Pull all of their fans and following, and then vice versa. They pull all of yours. And,
exactly.
It's just got so much growth, and this feels like it's going to be the year for trials, in every
hopefully,
in every way. So yeah, definitely excited. And finally, have you got like a message for all of our listeners, Matt? Anything you want to say to the trials community? Any message you want to get out there?
Get your Radfest tickets.
Yes, get your Radfest tickets. You've heard it now. I'll make sure that this is released appropriately right now, but this will be coming out either a week before or 2 weeks before Radfest. So if you're listening, if you can hear my voice right now, type in Radfest Reunion in Google and it will be the first one on there. Click on that and buy your ticket. All right. You won't be going. I do know that there's a lot of tickets have been bought and quite a few dirt jumpers this year because obviously the dirt jumps are massive.
They look so good.
So trials riders, get in there fast before it's too late. Of course, the Shin Dig Media will be there. Matty's going to be there. Virtually everyone we've interviewed, almost everybody, I think, will be there. And we'll have a presence too. We're going to make sure we bring some of our merch. We've got some brand new merch that it hasn't even been out yet that we're going to bring with us. So we shall have a presence and we'd love to, meet all of our guests in person again and ride together.
Yeah, it's going to be so good.
I can't wait. You're going to be camping, Matt, for the whole weekend, hanging out?
I've got a weekend ticket, yes.
Yes, of course. Well, mate, I think it's in your contract to be there. I'm pretty sure you don't have a choice. Isn't that like, you probably didn't know that, but in the small print, like Tom Mitchell's listening to this on his car back home from work on a Friday. Hey, Tom, I know you're there. Without fail. And he's like, what? Matty has to come. It's like no choice for him. He doesn't have an option. Oh, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Absolute pleasure chatting with you today. Have you got anything planned for the rest of your day? You say you might be going out on your bike?
Yeah, pretty much probably just riding. It's actually quite cool today, to be fair, so it's not too hot. So I'll probably jump on the bike.
Yeah, I know
do
it's
some more gymnastics and whatever.
super hot out there right now. I have to close all my windows in my room to do this. For
Yeah,
sound.
I bet in London.
And I'm sweating right now. It's 27 degrees in my room right here. It says.
Jesus.
I'm gonna have to what happens now? Close all the blinds, open the windows, get the shade in here, and cool off.
Yeah.
Mate, absolute pleasure catching up with you and others to get to know you a little bit more. Stage 1, I mean, we're going to do full circle and interview everyone again, like in a year's time. So we want to have a good catch up and a message from the Shin Dig to you, Matt. Carry on doing what you're doing, mate. We absolutely love it. It is very different, bringing that new element and creativity to the sport, and it's really good to see other brands kind of recognizing you and seeing that your following is great. So can't thank you enough for everything you're doing, Matt. So nice work.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolute pleasure. I have been the Shin Dig podcast. My name's Matty P. That's Matty Turner. You can find him on Matty Turner Trials on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube as well. Turn that bell on so you've got all of the notifications coming through. Many world firsts from Matt. I mean, if you're not following him, what the hell are you doing? If you're a cyclist, it doesn't matter what you do. Get following Matt. And of course, if you like our podcast and media, please head over to Apple Podcasts and give us that nice 5-star review. It does help us get into the algorithms there. Of course, if you're a new listener, it's the first time, let us know. You know, tell us how we're doing. Tell us how bad we're doing. Okay, everything needs improvement, of course. Don't worry. I'm doing my absolute best. Again, Matt, thank you so much, and have a great day, everyone. We'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
See you later.